We are delighted to welcome Onyinyechi Ogu Obaroh, a Nigerian sports journalist, joining us here on Sports Scene. Ogu Obaroh, welcome to Sports Scene. Thank you for joining us. And I guess the first question we want to ask is about the Nigerian Super Eagles. What's going on with them? Are they in fear of missing the World Cup for the second time? Can that be true? Can you believe it?
I really cannot believe it. Thank you so much, Richard. I'm happy to join you on the show today. We're in a dire situation. I thought I'll be here gloating about the performance of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but it's the other way around right now. We could see that the team at this time had gotten just one win out of 6 games played in the qualifying campaign. Though we thought we had a resurgence after that win against Rwanda, but that 90th minute equalizer from Zimbabwe had to cancel out the 74th minute goal from Victor Osimhen. That really broke our hearts. And because we're at home at the moment, it was really heartbreaking. Now, this team has now gotten just 1 win, 4 draws, and then 1 loss in this 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign. We will not blame the coach because the Eagles have had 4 coaches on the road to this campaign. We had Joseph Pacero, who handed us 2 draws. We had Finidi George, who handed us 1 draw and then 1 loss. Then we had Augustine de Guavon, though he did not play any of the World Cup qualifying matches, but was still a coach that handed us the AFCON tickets. Now we have Eric Schell, and we've gotten 1 win and 1 draw. Now the Super Eagles will have to deal with having to struggle to make that second place finishing. That's the best out of the second place finishing so that we can make the playoff. In the playoff, it's another bone of contention because Gabon lead with 15 points there in the second place finishes. We've got Mauritania and Namibia at 12 points. So the Super Eagles at this time, they're in a dire situation. If we do not make it to the World Cup, this will be the first time we will not make it to 2 World Cups back to back. Our hopes are really thin.
All right, a dire situation indeed. Nigerian fans have to keep their fingers and toes crossed, should we say that. But speaking of the teams that have performed so far, coming to this expanded World Cup, which teams are you looking out for to shine in the 2026 World Cup?
All right, I'll be looking at Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast are doing something really beautiful. They've been on a beautiful run in this 2026 World Cup qualifying campaign as defending champions on the continent. So that Cinderella run that they had at the AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire, of course, it continues to the 2026 World Cup qualifying campaign, having to see Sebastian go all out for Ivory Coast and Emma Faye having a good run in the qualifiers. It's really beautiful to see, and I'm feeling like they would continue with this campaign if they punched their tickets to the World Cup. Believe me, I would say Group C leaders. I'm looking at them. They are also something to talk about. They've had a beautiful run. That's South Africa. Had a beautiful run in this qualifying campaign. South Africa have got no star player, not too much star players in their squad. Most of their players ply their trade in the domestic league, the South African PSL. Then we have no media hype for them. They do not parade too much stars, but you see them topping the group that has got Lesotho, that has got Benin Republic, that has got Nigeria, a 3-time African champion, and also Rwanda. They are on an unbeaten streak in this World Cup qualifying campaign, and 18-game unbeaten. So I think Hugo Bruce's charges are one to watch out for. Then I would say a Mino. There are no Minos in football anymore, but I would consider Sudan as one of the team I'm also watching. Group B is tightly contested. Group B that parades DR Congo, Senegal, and also Sudan and also South Sudan. Sudan, a civil war-torn nation, they are doing beautifully well, struggling with DR Congo and Senegal in that group. The coaches have not been paid for a very long time, and also remember that it's been a big ask for them to have to play their game at home tough, but they are doing beautifully well, garnering 12 points from that Group B encounter. These are the teams I'll be looking out for if they punch their ticket to the World Cup.
All right, important points that you've made there, Ogu Obaroh. And one final question before we let you go. This 48-team tournament, is it going to be a hit or miss? How do you see it and why?
I think it's a mixed bag. It's got its pros and cons. It's a two-edged sword. If the goal of FIFA is for growth and also inclusivity, I think it's a hit because we have more games to watch. We've got more nations having to play and more money for FIFA from the sponsorship deal and also the deals that they will have to sign, having to host this competition, the United States, Mexico, and Canada. So if this is the goal of FIFA, growth and inclusivity, I think it's a hit. From 64 games, we have to watch 104 games in this year, in the 2026 competition. So it's going to be a hit. On the other hand, if the goal of FIFA is for high competition and also for its tradition to be maintained, I think it's a miss because at this point, too many nations playing the games, there'll be a dilute of that intensity. We always want to, clamor for intensity in the football to see more competition. We're not going to see it because these teams that get to play these games will try not to play too much from the group stages if they do know that they have prospect going into the final stages of the competition. So the intensity of play will really die down. Then that tradition of having a historic tournament, we might not get to see that in the competition. We might have confusion having to settle with the third place finishers, finishers of each group of this competition. So it's a two-edged sword. It's a hit from the angle of making money, of having more games, of giving viewers more games to watch. It's a hit, but it's a miss when it comes to the high competitiveness of the competition and maintaining the tradition from FIFA as a global showpiece.
All right, Onyinyechi Ogu Obaroh from Lagos, thanks for that.